Speaking of livid, I don't know how many people really pay attention to our feeds. Sometimes they compliment each other. Sometimes they talk to each other. We got a little feed feud going on today. So the floor is yours.
Well, I'm going to say, I don't want to talk about the feed feud first. I'm going to talk about this.
Oh, say that 3 times fast.
I'm going to talk about, yeah. I'm going to talk about my faith.
First.
I'm going to talk about my faith.
Okay.
Yes. And how if you don't believe in the Holy Spirit, let me be a witness. Because I got down on my hands and knees before coming on this show today. Because the Holy Spirit is the reason I'm not cussing you out today. The Holy Spirit is the reason
you can love
I'm
Jesus
not calling
and still
you
cuss.
anything.
You can love Jesus and still cuss.
I don't remember Jesus cussing. Okay, anyway.
Don't worry, he'll forgive you. It's all been paid.
Yeah, you know.
He's already paid the cost. Go right ahead. Go right ahead.
That's
brother.
the reason.
Go right ahead.
I'm going to call you a child of God and nothing else. But I'm amused. That's what I am. I'm amused.
Okay, go ahead. Why?
I'm amused by the straw nations that you scatter on your feed. The straw nations. And
such as?
I'm also amused how you become like you're like the guardian of the Warriors galaxy when it comes to like any type of criticism of the Warriors. You kind of take offense at that. So
this coming from
like,
a Boston homer? This coming from a blatant Boston homer?
No, you take offense.
That is pot meat kettle.
No.
Oh
this is what
okay.
I'm gonna point out.
Keep going.
Not only do you take offense at that, but maybe you just take offense at when I intentionally don't put nuance in something. So when I said, at the beginning of the playoffs, I said Boston's better than Brooklyn. Ooh, whoa, Dave, whoa. Boston swept Brooklyn. You didn't like the way I just said it, like Boston's a better team than Brooklyn. You didn't like it. And then when I say Boston.
That's not accurate, but keep cooking.
You didn't like that. No, you didn't.
That's not.
You didn't. You said that.
But that's okay.
How can you say that? It's a pick. I got a pick 'em or
what I said.
Celtics and 6 or whatever it is. You didn't like it. You didn't like the way I said it.
All right.
Definitively.
I'll let you.
That's
you
what I remember.
All right.
Okay.
But that's what there we go. That's your truth. That's your truth.
That's what I remember.
I know my truth. I know my truth. That's your truth. Okay, great. There we go.
But moving it forward to when I said Boston is a better team than Golden State, before the series started, Boston's better.
Yep.
And I stand by the process of what I came, we didn't see the series. I didn't know what it was going to look like, but going into the series, I look at what Boston has, look at what Golden State has, how they might match up. I think Boston's a better team. Right now they're down 3 games to 2. But the reason that's not even outrageous, and I'm wondering why you take offense at it, because you said in your feed that the more desperate team, which I reject, but the more desperate team is Boston. And so you've got Warriors in 7. If you've got Warriors in 7, you got this series going to the limit, that means anybody can win it. And if Boston wins it, you'll say Boston is the better team. So what's the problem? What's the problem of saying a team that wins the NBA Finals in 7 games is better than the other team that loses the NBA Finals in 7 games? I don't get it. Help me out.
I can't, because I don't get a word. I listen carefully. I don't understand the thing you just said. Maybe that's all me. Maybe that's me.
Okay. Let me say it better.
Okay.
Let me say it better.
Okay.
If you are offended,
I'm not.
By me.
I'll reject the premise.
Well, okay, but why'd you put in your feed? You said please stop. You said please stop saying Boston's a better team.
Because they're not.
You said that.
They're not.
Okay. All right. Right.
They're not a better team.
Opinion.
That doesn't mean I'm offended by it. They're not a better team. And what does that even mean?
So you can understand. Because since you don't understand, I'm going to do it slower so you'll get it. You say they're not better. But you think the series is going 7 games. Boston's not better, but Boston can make it to a game 7. If Boston wins Game 7, will Boston be the better team than Golden State?
Sure. But here's the irony of everything you're saying. You started off by saying the straw nation, and everything you just said was built on a straw man. I'm not offended by you thinking that Boston is the better team. I disagree.
I'm looking at your tone and check your tone in. I'm looking at your tone.
I disagree that Boston is the better team. And better team meaning what? Better on paper? More talented? Part of Boston's DNA is they turn the ball over. So you can't say the better team, but for all the times that they either turn it over or force them to turn it over and give away the game. You can't say they're the better team.
I know you like analytics, but technically that's false. Because the Warriors
they don't turn the ball over?
Turn it over more than Boston. That's false. That's false.
I didn't say anything about the Warriors. I'm saying that Boston turns it over.
Part of their DNA is that they turn it over, but the Warriors turn it over more.
When Boston turns it over 16 times. Oh, now you want to deal with facts? Okay, fine. When Boston turns it over 16 times, they lose a lot. When they don't turn it over 16 times, they win. They turn it over 18 times. The Warriors have scored over 100 points off of Boston's turnovers. That's the most in NBA Finals history through 5 games. So there's your facts. So what I'm saying is you can't say that Boston is a better team if Boston isn't playing better than the Warriors. The reason I picked Golden State in 7, whereas you had Boston in 5, is because at minimum these teams are very close. I wasn't offended. I thought that you underestimated Golden State in this matchup vis-a-vis their physicality, as they say nowadays.
There we go. That's
their ability to defend.
That's the first statement you made that I agree with. I did. That is a fair point. That is the first.
So I was never offended if you thought that Boston was better, but I would think that as the facts change, so would your opinion. And watching this series, you can't watch this series through 5 games. Forget about Golden State being up 3-2 and say Boston's better. That's part 1. But part 2, setting aside our pettiness, the sports talk gods have a sense of humor. Because what I enjoyed last night, talking about praying to God, but what I enjoyed last night was we spent yesterday's show bickering about Steph Curry versus Jayson Tatum and who the best player was in general in a vacuum, who had been the best player through the first 4 games of the series. And Andrew Wiggins decided that he was going to be the best player on the floor last night. I got a kick out of that. And the Andrew Wiggins story might be the best story of these finals. And he's not going to be finals MVP, but he's gotten something probably just as valuable, if intangible, and that's respect. Because I don't think that people would have attached the B word to Andrew Wiggins before this series, but they would have said he was at least disappointing. He's already been traded twice. He was supposed to be Pippen to LeBron's Jordan. LeBron was like, I ain't got time for that. Go get me Kevin Love. Minnesota, we know what happened there. He goes to Golden State, doesn't have that same pressure. And a lot of the criticism on Wiggins, they were fair within the context of a max player of a #1 overall pick. It's not just that the Warriors asked less of him and utilized him better, but it's also that their culture and their environment brought out the most in him, and he has risen to the occasion. So that's all I got out of last night is just like, damn, Andrew Wiggins has really arrived. And it took him a while, and it took him a couple of trades, but he's arrived. And I just thought that was funny, given that we were bickering about best player. Steph nor Tatum could hold a candle to Andrew Wiggins last night.
By the way, I was never debating you. We figured this out. I was never debating you about best player in the series. I was doing it overall. So, yeah, Curry versus Tatum, it was not about the series. Tatum has not played well in the series. Steph Curry has played very well in the series, despite.
He hasn't shot well. There's been some spots where Tatum's been effective, as he pointed out, passing the ball.
Yeah, but you know,
pretty good.
For his stats from 2-point range going into last night with the lowest in NBA Finals history. Yeah, for a guy who's played as much as he has.
That's what I say. Yeah. So that's what I say. He hasn't shot well. But the straw man thing. I don't use straw man. I listen to what you're saying. You said,
no.
or it was said on this show that Steph Curry had to go off in order for the Warriors to win. That the Warriors
could not sustain. But I never said that feed item though. But you got to speak facts to me though.
That they could not sustain a struggle.
Listen,
okay, here's
brother.
a fact. You don't remember what you say half the time.
You write.
You don't remember. You don't remember what you say. I'm holding you to what you say.
No.
You don't remember what you say.
I gotta hold. No. Stop. I gotta hold you to what you write. You said Steph has to score 40. I never said that. I never said he has to score 40 because he scored 40 once in this series. I said he's got to go off. And I know what I said. I said,
got to go off. Sorry.
I said, Jayson Tatum. Now, this is wrong.
My bad.
What I said was wrong. I said Jayson Tatum had a 3 for 17 in game 1, and they won. I said Steph can't have a game like that, and the Warriors win.
Sorry,
that's a lot different than saying.
Sorry, I couldn't fit all that in one line.
Well,
I'm holding you to what you said. You holding me to what I like. I'm not lying. It's all on tape.
You are lying. Because I ain't saying that.
It's all on tape. Oh, okay, you want to get by on semantics.
No, it's not semantics.
Goalpost
It's
moving,
truth, Michael.
Semantic. No, the truth is, you can't keep track of what you're saying.
Did I say that?
Here's the Celtics.
Yes or no?
Here's what the Celtics. Don't worry about what you said. Here's what the Celtics said last night.
Yes or no?
Here's what the Celtics said last night.
Hey, thanks for watching Brother from Another on YouTube. Make sure you hit subscribe before you leave, and be sure to watch us 3 to 5 p.m. Eastern Time on Peacock. Appreciate you.